Uh, uh, Bad dog. Really bad dog. Hello, folks. Welcome back to our Chair Reviews. Today I'm going to be reviewing the book, The Barking Ghost. Number 32 from the original series of Goosebumps. Wow, first and foremost, I would like to mention about how much I love the front cover. It is so scary. It is terrifying, actually. You have that big, scary looking dog on the foreground, and he's baring his teeth, and he's looking straight at us with those very eerie, scary looking eyes of his. And those eyes seem to be glowing. Those are red eyes, and they seem to be the kind of eyes that would pierce through somebody's soul. So they're sending that real eerie, sort of pale red glow that is kind of spreading around a little bit, especially by the dog's left ear or his right ear. I'm not entirely sure, depending on how you look at it. And basically, yeah, it is being reflected on his fur and on some of his body. And yeah, this dog is kind of a dark blue, and he's kind of lurking in the dark. And that's a really scary front cover, if you ask me. Could you imagine, like, waking up at night and seeing that staring at you, looking at you, teeth bared, about to attack? Because this dog has that real threatening expression on his eyes, like he's about to attack or something. That's a really scary scene, a very scary sight. You could even imagine him growling or something. You could imagine him growling at you. Wow. And those sharp teeth, those sharp fangs, man. That is so good. One of Tim Jacobus' finest, if you ask me, one of his best front covers of all of Goosebumps. I mean, I love it so much. And there's a little bit of red too, like the title Goosebumps, the color in the background of the title of the book, and yeah, the tagline that reads "Bad Dog," really bad dog. That is such a great front cover, and this dog is looking in the dark, and it seems to be the middle of the night, judging from the dark blue. That is, I assume it is the sky, and so yeah, that's a really great front cover. Again, the red, everything, the very light blue, almost gray, in the background of the title, Goosebumps is just so good, like mesmerizingly good, amazing, beautiful, you name it. Wow, I'm in love with that front cover. So no, when I first saw that front cover, I thought this is the kind of book I would like to read. Basically, it was on my reading list, and this book was one of the Goosebumps books that I wanted to read. I really wanted to read this book. It was on at the top of my list of Goosebumps books I had to read. Right, it was on my to read list. All right, I really wanted to read this book after that amazingly frightening, well made front cover. I really wanted to read this book, and I wasn't disappointed in the slightest. This book is awesome. One of my favorite Goosebumps books of all time. Now, little disclaimer before I move on to the book itself. I'm kind of a guy who's terrified of dogs, and especially big, vicious, scary-looking ones like this one. So if that were to happen, when I read a book, I'm always putting myself in the main character's shoes. Like I'm assuming I'm the main character. So everything that is happening, I assume that it is happening to me. Everything that's happening to that main character. And I'm pretty sure that most of you feel that way when you're reading a Goosebumps book, or any book for that matter. You assume that you're the main character, right? You're putting yourself in his position, right? So basically, yeah, if that were to happen to me, that would terrify me, especially dog things, because like I mentioned, I'm a guy who's terrified of dogs. And yeah, so that was a particularly well written book for me. A very scary look. It's a very scary book, and it was a very relatable Goosebumps book. So now let's move on to the book itself. So the book itself is basically about that family, the Holmeses, and our main character is named Cooper Holmes, and he and his family are moving from Boston to a new house in Maine, right? So again, I like the reference to Maine because I don't know if you read other books apart from Goosebumps, but Stephen King's books are mostly taking place in Maine. Now, why am I mentioning that? Because this dog is so reminiscent of the book Cucho, right? And they made a movie out of this one also. I'm pretty sure most of you have heard about Cucho. Yeah, the scary killer dog. And this one really reminded me a lot about Cucho, right? This Cucho looking dog, scary looking and everything. Yeah, that's a good one. But yeah, so basically they're moving to Maine, and Cooper has a brother. His name is Mickey, and he likes to scare his brother, play mean tricks on him, mean jokes, practical jokes, and basically his main hobby is to terrify his younger brother. So basically, at first, when they move into their new house that is kind of lush in the middle of the woods, things are gonna look a little strange because Cooper hears those barking sounds, yeah, late at night, like barking, dogs barking in the distance, and he's wondering exactly what it is exactly. He doesn't have a clue of what he's getting himself into, but he notices and he spots those footprints, right? That are thought to be the work of dogs, right? Two dogs to be more precise, I think. But yeah, Cooper is going to try to investigate. So the book is a little bit kind of mixed between mystery, fear, and yeah, it's not a detective book in any shape or form, but it's kind of suspenseful, right? It's like Cooper has to unravel the mystery and understand and figure out what is happening in there. So basically, he's gonna run into the girl. Her name is Margaret Ferguson, and she tells him about the dogs, and she's really well. Actually, let me backtrack a bit. Yeah, she's Cooper's neighbor. She lives a little far away from him though, but the the forest is kind of the place where neighbors would basically hang out in. So they come across each other, and at first everything seems to be doing okay. She seems nice and everything. She's a redhead, and she seems pretty nice, Margaret Ferguson. But she's kind of strange too because she tells Cooper that his house is haunted, and that he has to get out from there as soon as possible. But then Cooper, in my opinion, if I'm not mistaken, because I read this book like in August of 2020, it was a long time ago. When he mentions the dogs, and she doesn't want to talk about it, and she just disappears like that. And then the dogs, those two large, ghostly black Labradors, I'm quoting from Goosebumps fandom, right? I'm quoting a little bit from there, since I'm reviewing a book that it's not exactly fresh in my memory right now because I read it, like I said, about 2 years ago, but still, yeah. So that I get my facts straight, I'm gonna quote a little bit from there, but not too much, of course. Just what I don't remember much about it. So basically, the dogs are gonna chase him, and he's gonna feel really trapped and yeah, scared inside his house because he doesn't know exactly what the heck is going on. The dogs seem to have it out for him. They want to attack him. They want to hurt him. So he's gonna be really scared. But at the same time, he really wants to understand exactly what this whole thing is about. So he's gonna try to understand, and eventually he's gonna talk to Fergie one more time, and they're gonna become good friends, and they're gonna try to investigate together. And yeah, so that's pretty much it. And the dogs are gonna come back, and at some point there's gonna be a really scary scene, and it's a scene I remember well from this book. I don't want to speak too much of it or anything, but yeah, there's gonna be a pretty scary scene. So the book is basically made of two parts. The first part is it's more scary than anything. About like when it comes to those dogs. What's his name? Cooper is gonna try to understand exactly what is happening. But in the second part, it's like they finally understand and they finally know what it is, what those dogs are, and they're gonna follow them at some point. I don't want to tell you exactly what it is, but they're gonna find out, and find out what the dogs are. But I don't want to give too much away right now, so I'm gonna keep it there. I'm gonna keep it to that. So yeah, and then something is gonna happen to those two characters, and yeah, they're gonna try to solve their situation to make things go back to normal, if I may say so. And then comes the end, right? The final twist. Well, I don't want to get into it too much. So I'm gonna stop it right there. So this book was awesome. I loved it. It is one of my favorite Goosebumps books of all time. It is one of the most hated Goosebumps books for some reason. Even Stein himself, the author, apparently hated this book. I don't exactly know why, but yeah, I thought it was worth mentioning. I thought it was great. It was really well written and so good. But I know a lot of people from the community would disagree with me about this book, like would think that it wasn't that great of a book, and I respect everybody's opinion on it. If you didn't like it, it's okay with me. It's fine if you think this book was somehow not as good as the rest of the series. But yeah, personally, I loved this book. I loved this book so much. It is one of my favorite Goosebumps books of all time. I loved it so much. The front cover and the story. Well, I gotta be totally honest with you. The first part with the mystery is much more better written and more effective as a book than the second part. Because, like I said, the second part is gonna be more like something else, but not like entirely different. But the second part is more about them knowing and what they do about it, and something is gonna happen, and they're gonna try to reverse what has happened, and so yeah, the second part is kind of more. It's different, all right. It's different than the first part, and the first part was much better. So I'm gonna deduct like point 0.5 from this book because of that. I kind of wish the first part was more like. I kind of wish the first part was just like the entire book. I wish there wasn't any change. I wish all the complex, all the complexity and the complex things that Stein inserted in the second part. I wish it wasn't like that. I wish it was just a simple, dark, scary story. It is, but second part is gonna change things a little bit. And judging by the title, The Barking Ghost, maybe you kind of know what it is more or less about. So I'm not gonna spoil it in any shape or form. But yeah, second part it was a little bit weaker, but just a little bit, tiny bit weaker. But apart from that, it was great. I loved the family, the Holmeses. The parents are fine. They don't believe their child. Cooper, when he tells them about the dogs, because they assume that they think that none of the neighbors are thought to have or to own dogs. So yeah, that's pretty weird to them, but they're cool. Mickey is it's pretty enjoyable, all right. Even though he likes to scare his little brother, his younger brother. Yeah, he's an older brother, so it's kind of understandable, but he's cool. He's not that bad, in my opinion. At some point, Cooper and our main character and Fergie are going to try to get back at him for what he did, and something pretty funny is going to happen. I don't want to spoil it or anything, so I'm going to tell you exactly what it is. I'm not gonna tell you what it is, but yeah, that was great. That was awesome. This book has a few funny scenes in them. This book has a few funny scenes in it, and not that much, but yeah, this book has a few funny scenes. This book has a few funny scenes in it. Yeah, because not a lot, but some of them. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Cooper's really enjoyable. Cooper's really enjoyable, and so is Fergie, and she's really beautiful. The way she looks is the story, the book describes her as yeah, Stein describes his characters with a lot of details. Yeah, she looks like a really she sounds like a really sweet girl, nice, good looking girl. But yeah, that's a great book in my opinion. It gets a lot of hate for some reason, and like I said, you don't like this book. It's fine with me. Yeah, like Michael Goosebumps didn't like it. Grayson didn't like it. That's fine. I mean, when I say didn't like it, I don't mean I think Grayson said, if I'm not mistaken, and let me know in the comment section down below if I get I make any kind of mistakes. I'm gonna try not to make any, but if I'm not mistaken, he liked the book, but it wasn't his his he didn't like it that much, right? He did mention that he liked the characters, so I agree with him on that. Totally, I'm with him on that. The characters are awesome, especially Cooper and Fergie. But yeah, the story didn't seem that compelling to him. Didn't seem that great to him. Am I right? So yeah, that's something I wanted to mention. And yeah, check out their videos, Michael Goosebumps and Grayson the Goosebumps Kid, 1992. Awesome videos, awesome content. Really like it. And yeah, so that's pretty much it. So yeah, I like the characters. I like everything. I liked everything about the book. The thing I liked about this book is that it is mixed between fiction, horror, supernatural. It is suspenseful, scary at times, funny, scary, pretty scary actually, funny at times, but really scary overall, and a great book, and mysterious also. And since I'm really afraid of dogs, as I mentioned at the beginning, I'm terrified of big dogs. It was really a good story for me because since I'm afraid of dogs, and that could happen to anybody. It was really a great story for me. It was really frightening and scary. Wow, I so loved this book. The only thing I kind of like I said, I'm gonna deduct just point 0.5 from the final score I'm gonna give this book because of the ending. Not the ending. The second part was good, but a little bit too complex at some point. There was no need for it. It could have been just the same story, like from beginning to end. I kind of wish Stein didn't change things like too much, like he did. But it's still a great book. Don't get me wrong. And the final twist is pretty funny, to be honest with you. So, like I said, it is mixed between humor, scares, and mystery. And I really liked that about the book. It was a really good book, really awesome book. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Also, I really like the setting, about the fact that this good-looking, very good-looking house is, just standing in the middle of the woods. Like, it is kind of like, it reminded me a little bit about it reminded me a little bit about the Werewolf of Fever Swamp, and so yeah. But that I loved it. I loved that part. The fact that there's a big forest stretching on for miles away, near the house, kind of like a backyard, but a huge one that kind of belongs to everybody. But I love that. Yeah. Apart from that, I think that's pretty much it. The setting is awesome. The fact that it takes place in Maine, loved it. And yeah, the choice of location is awesome. The fact that it takes place in Maine, it's a new setting for Goosebumps. Isn't it the only Goosebumps book that takes place in Maine? I believe so. But if there's any other, let me know in the comment section down below. Maine is a pretty great place. Like Stephen King's books are mostly taking place in there, even though sometimes the towns in Stephen King's books are kind of fictional, like Castle Rock and stuff like this. But I love that about this book. The sky's mostly cloudy and overcast, like it's gonna rain, and thunder is right around the corner, and yeah, there's gonna be it's like there's a storm coming, so it's pretty ominous of scary novels, in my opinion. But yeah, it's pretty scary. I mean, it takes place in the end of August, if I'm not mistaken, late August. Sometimes before school starts, right? And so yeah, I really like that about the book, that takes place in a you have that really dark setting, right? Like if you didn't read this book yet, like it's about to rain, and thunder is approaching, and storms coming, and yeah, that's pretty much it, and lightning and all of that. So if you haven't read this book, I would definitely recommend you to read it, and preferably on like I said, stormy, rainy day, and yeah, before the classes start, like maybe in late August, right before September. I believe this is when the story takes place, if I'm not mistaken. And I read it in August of 2020, and that was a great time for me to read this book. So yeah, I really enjoyed it a lot. So I think that's pretty much it. So great story, really awesome. The only thing I wasn't crazy about, like I said, was some part it got a little bit too complex, but it's still an awesome book. So if I were to rate it, I'd give it 9 out of 10, 9.5 out of 10. Sorry, 9.5 out of 10 for this book, and I really loved it. So yeah, like a really great one, really scary and really relatable to me, for me, and I loved it so much. So, what about you, folks? What did you think about The Barking Ghost? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Let me know in the comment section down below. I can't wait to hear about what you have to say on this book. And in the meantime, stay safe, and I'll see you on the next review. And in the meantime, stay safe, folks. Goodbye. Take care. This is Sergeant Hergus for you signing off. And now I'm going to be reading the summary. It's a doggone nightmare. Scared of his own shadow. That's what everyone says about Cooper Holmes. But when the Holmeses move into a new house deep in the woods, scary things really do start happening. Problem is, no one believes a scaredy cat like Cooper. But then no one else heard the bone-chilling barking late at night, or ran into two evil-looking ducks who disappeared into thin air.